How you doing, guys? My name is David Lee and I'm Asian with Hat.
I'm Tony Pat, known as Whisper with Aces and Eights.
And we've been on a little bit of a hiatus taking care of a new facility, an up-and-coming facility in Oklahoma. And what is it, Tony?
It's called 10-8 Tactical. It's a training facility with law enforcement, military, and civilian training for like active shooter stuff and that. It uses Airsoft for the training weapons.
And who are they owned by?
They're owned by two local SWAT officers here in town.
All right, so if you guys want to check out 10-8 Tactical, go on to 10-8tacticalok.com or check in the links in the description down below, and you actually find some links for them, and you actually find a lot of stuff to talk about, to read about on the website.
Right.
Tony, what are we reviewing today?
We're reviewing PT button, guys, here. I use a Wuxung and a Puxung radio, and guys, it is Kenwood adapter, guys. And David, what radio are you using yours on?
So Tony, I am an airsofter, so a lot of us airsofters like to use Baofengs. This is an 8-watt Baofeng radio, and this is actually one of the most common radios to be used in airsoft. And is also found in police, EMT, and also used in a lot of range stuff for firearms. Now Tony, what headsets do you use for your push-to-talk?
I have two sets of headsets. I use a regular single cable Peltors, and I use my MS Swordens here. I've had no problems in the weather. I was in Tennessee in a flood storm using it. It worked great.
Johnny,
and I was at Broken Home.
grab the swatter. It's on the top of my head. Back of my head. Did you get it?
Yes! Got him!
Oh, yes!
There he is! Ha ha! Peltors, and I use my MS Swordens here, which I've used for years. So one would be more squad radio, and then one would be hooked to the prick to command. Well, David, what do you use?
I use a set of Peltor Contact 3s. These will also go with the older version of the Contacts. Mine are the dual comm version. So I also do the same thing as Tony. I would use mine on the squad radio, and then I would use a platoon version of my radio to go with my other side. So a really good set. And Tony, what is your experience with using these push-to-talks overall?
And over my years working with Uncle Sam for years, it was great because our biggest thing was we wanted our radios on the pricks, which was one set, and then this set we wanted command. We didn't want to have to carry another big radio because, you know, they're heavy. So we would have our guys in the radio shop convert these down to the Kenwood plugs or ICOMs, depending on what radio we're using.
And they would go into your squad, right?
Yep, and those would be strictly for our squad setups, which now don't have to do that. They're made, where, David?
In the Czech Republic.
In the Czech Republic. So guys, I mean, it's a great thing to do. And depending on price-wise, you can find cheap ones to expensive ones.
Right. And the US-made ones, I actually use a US-made one, and it's a pretty expensive piece, just because they're actually converted from the real sets. And these are actually reliable, but the thing is, the price point on these is that they're going to be a lot more, significantly cheaper compared to the buying them in the US, if they're actually made in the US.
Yeah, price is $70, guys, with $15 shipping. So, I mean, dude, that's cheap. Compared to the ones, I think they ran from $120 to $140, so it's cheap.
Right. So $90 in total from the Czech Republic to the United States or wherever you are. Prices will vary for shipping, but overall in the United States, $90 is actually a pretty cheap price compared to having to buy a U.S.-made U94. And both ours have actually been pretty reliable. We haven't had issues yet, and they're actually waterproof and dustproof. And we'll actually get you some B-roll showing you guys that these are actually able to be put underwater, and you won't have any issues with communication stuff.
We're gonna do this one right here underwater here in a little bit, guys.
Tony, what are you doing?
I am testing it to make sure it's waterproof.
No, oh, come on, Tony.
Test, test, test. Hey, I'm not gurgling underwater like a fish. You can hear me. Can you hear it over there, David?
I think so.
Well, why don't you walk over there and check out real quick? Test, test, test. Loud and clear. David, test, test, test. Do you hear me, David?
I do. Holy crap.
There we go, guys. Underwater, look. Underwater.
And Tony, you use yours in the rain too, right?
Chris, yes, I was in a game up in Tennessee, up by Nashville, and it was a monsoon. They worked great, and I used them on my single Peltors. They worked awesome. And then I used them at Broken Home here on Memorial Weekend, and it was hot as crap, and I got a lot of sweat down them. They're awesome.
Right, and on my side, if you guys have actually been to D14, we had an event, or they had an event called Dagestan, and literally it was one day of non-stop pouring. Once the game started, it started pouring like crazy. My push-to-talks worked fine, so if you guys use the push-to-talks, you won't have an issue at all.
Guys, good pros and cons here is what I like is the button is real easy to hit.
Still
It's
very
soft.
tactile, right, Tony?
Yeah, oh yes, yes. I mean, listen, it's got a good click on it, but it's real soft. You don't have to push hard. So if you're trying to do something quick, you just barely hit it.
Right.
That was my pros on it. Cons, I haven't found one yet, believe it or not. I've heard a few other people say, depending on the radio, they're picky on how they go into the radio. How about you, David?
I've actually had that issue on my side on my radios where depending on the connection, you'll have to actually press firmly on it, or you're going to have to do some TLC on the connection, and then you'll actually get a better connection so that way you can actually send out your communication stuff to other people on the radio. I don't really have any other cons outside of that, but that minor TLC is not too significant. You can always do some grinding at the shop or do some sanding, so it's not too much of an issue on my side. Overall, Tony, do you think this is something that we could use for airsoft?
Oh yes, I think I'll use it again at the range. Like this weekend, I'll be at the range again. This week, I'll use it at the range again, teaching a class, and then I'll be using it here at the facility this weekend too.
And we actually have some footage of you using it at the field, right?
Correct. We were using it this weekend. I broke it out this weekend. I was playing with it all weekend long, and I'll be doing it again this weekend here and at the range.
How clear is the communication part?
Absolutely awesome. It has been great here. I mean, with the radio here in this metal building we're in, and concrete building, I've had no problems with it, guys.
All right, guys, if you have any questions about the push to talk, just leave your comments in the comment section down below. Links will be in the description down below for where you guys can actually get this. And overall, really like the push to talk. And this is Dave Lee from Asian with Hat.
This is Tony with Aces and Eights and 10-8 Tactical.
Yeah, go check out 10-8 Tactical. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to Asian with Hat. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
See you on the range.